Hola and welcome to ProSpanish. We're going to get started straight away so that you can experience for yourself just how easy it is to learn Spanish quickly. More advanced subscribers, you may want to skip forward to the time frame on the screen now, or stick with us for some extra practice. Now before I get into the vocab that we need for this lesson, I want to show you how some of the most useful stuff, the stuff that's usually left till later because it's seen as too hard, can actually be taught right from the start. We're going to begin with a little word. The word for to give is dar. Dar. D-A-R. Dar, to give. Dar. And you may have seen in a previous video that the word for me is just me, spelt the same, but pronounced me. So me is me. And if you want to say to give me, we just say darme, darme. So we just stick the me on the end of the verb. So darme, to give me. And if we want to say to give you, well, you is te, T-E. So to give you is darte, darte. So darme, darte. To give me, to give you. What do you think this means? Darte una idea. Darte una idea. What does that mean? To give you an idea. To give you an idea. Darte una idea. What do you think this means? Darme una invitación. Darme una invitación. To give me an invitation. So, darme, darte. To give me, to give you. So, me, te, you. Him or her. Him and her is le. So we've got me, te, you, le, him or her, le. So how do you think you would say to give him or to give her? It's the same. To give him, to give her. What do you think that word would be? Darle. Darle. So we just, like the others, take the le and stick it onto the end of the verb dar. So darle, to give him or her. What would it mean if I said darle chocolate? Darle chocolate. To give him chocolate or to give her chocolate. And what about if I said darle una Coca-Cola? What's that? Darle una Coca-Cola. To give her a Coke or to give him a Coke. Okay, we'll come back to this in a minute. Now let's introduce the main vocab for this lesson. And just before we do, a quick reminder that all the lessons on this channel are one-offs, one-off videos, but the main structured ProSpanish course, the step-by-step levels 1 to 6 course, that's only available for download from prospanish.co.uk. None of that is on here on the channel. Right, let's have a look at what we've got here. So, dar, we've already seen, is to give. Dar. Next we have comprar. Comprar is to buy. Compra. And you don't need to try to memorize any of this. Just follow the flow of the lesson. So comprar, to buy. What does it mean if I say comprarme? Comprarme. What does that mean? To buy me. To buy me. How would you say to buy him or her? Say to buy him or her something. What's to buy him or her? Comprarle. Comprarle. Next we have decir. Decir is to say or to tell. It means both things. I mean, say and tell are very similar anyway. Decir is to say or to tell. Decir. How would you say to tell you? To tell you, it could be like to tell you the truth. To tell you, what would that be? Decirte. Decirte, to tell you. Next we have hacer. Hacer is to make. It's also to do, but we're going to use it as to make now. Hacer, to make. How would you say to make me? What would that be? To make me. To make me something to eat. To make me. Hacerme. Hacerme. To make me. And remember, the me or the te or the le, it just sticks onto the end of the word. Hacerme. To make me. What would it mean if I said hacerme una pizza? Hacerme una pizza. To make me a pizza. Then we have prestar. Prestar is to lend. Prestar. To lend. How would you say to lend him or to lend her? What would that be? Prestarle. Prestarle. Next we have preguntar. Preguntar is to ask. Una pregunta is a question. So preguntar is to ask or to question. Preguntar. How would you say to ask me? What would that be? Preguntarme. Preguntarme. To ask me. And then we have enseñar. Enseñar is to teach or to show. To teach or to show. So enseñarme could be to show me something, or it could be to teach me something. Enseñar. Enseñar. And mandar is to send. Mandar. Mandar. What does this mean? Mandarle un teléfono. Mandarle un teléfono. To send her a phone, a telephone, or to send him a phone. Right, now let's see how we can start off these sentences. We're going to go down in pairs. And if you're feeling overwhelmed because you think, oh my God, how am I going to learn all of this? Then, as I said before, you don't need to try to memorize it. You'll naturally retain more as we go through the lesson. Okay, so let's start off with two together. Quiero, I want, and necesito, I need. Necesito is quite easy because it looks a bit like necessary. So necesito, I need, and quiero, I want. Quiero, I want. What does it mean if I said, quiero darte, let's add on chocolate. Quiero darte chocolate. What do you think that means? I want to give you chocolate. Quiero darte chocolate. And necesito, I need. Okay, let's go on to another pair. So, puedo, I can. Puedo, I can. And voy a, I'm going to. So, puedo, I can. Voy a, I'm going to. How would you say, I can buy you? And we'll finish off that kind of sentence later, but let's just try, I can buy you. What would that be? Puedo comprarte. It could be, puedo comprarte un teléfono. I can buy you a phone. And how about if I added no? No puedo. I can't. No puedo. So what would it mean if I said no puedo comprarte un teléfono? I can't buy you a phone. Okay, let's move down to the next two. So I'm going to, voy a, and a really useful phrase, acabo de. I've just, acabo de. So I've just done something, acabo de, and whatever it might be. So, acabo de prestarte. I've just lent you, and then whatever it might be. Acabo de prestarte mi teléfono. I've just lent you my phone. Or what would this mean with voy a, with I'm going to? Voy a enseñarte. Voy a enseñarte. Let's add on, and we'll use the teach here for enseñar, because it could be to show or to teach. Voy a enseñarte español. What does that mean? Voy a enseñarte español. I'm going to teach you Spanish. And our final one is a past, decidí. I decided. Decidí. How would you say, I decided to make you a pizza? And a pizza is just una pizza. So I decided to make you a pizza. What would that be? Decidí hacerte una pizza. Decidí hacerte una pizza. And we'll just take a quick pause there while I mention our very popular Levels 1 to 6 course. This takes the complete beginner or a near beginner right up to a conversational level of Spanish in a series of very easy to follow steps. All the lessons on this YouTube channel are supplementary, whereas the core Levels 1 to 6 is very much a step-by-step program delivered by the same teacher as all the other videos on the ProSpanish YouTube channel. And while the style is very similar to what you'll be used to from these videos on the channel, the key difference is that every lesson carefully builds on the previous lessons so that you can really feel that progress of going from very little or no Spanish up to a level where you can confidently hold a conversation in Spanish. So again, that's available exclusively from prospanish.co.uk. Okay, let's have a look how we can finish off our sentences. So, algo, so we're looking at the final column, algo is something. Algo. Algo importante is something important. Algo importante. So just looking at the final two columns, how would you say to buy something important? What would that be? Comprar algo importante. Comprar algo importante. How about to buy her something? What would that be? To buy her something. Comprarle algo. Comprarle algo. So we've got algo and algo importante. Next few are quite guessable. Algo diferente, something different. Algo diferente. And algo interesante, something interesting. So what would it mean? Again, just looking at the final two columns. To ask something interesting. What would that be? Preguntar algo interesante. Preguntar algo interesante. And if you need more thinking time between me asking you a question and you saying it or it coming up on the video, then just pause the video to give yourself some more processing time. And then we have algo útil. Útil, useful, useful. It's one of those words that's actually quite easy to remember. Útil, like utilize, useful. Algo útil, something useful. And esto, this. So how would you say to send something useful? To send something useful, what would that be? Mandar algo útil. Mandar algo útil. And how about to give you this? To give you this. Just the final two columns, what would that be? Darte esto. Darte esto. Okay, so now we have all our core language. Just listen to the sentences that I say and try and work out what's being said. So just look at the table, read from column 1 to column 3. So what does it mean if I say necesito decirte algo importante? Necesito decirte algo importante. I need to tell you something important. I need to tell you something important. How about quiero comprar algo? Straightforward. What's that? Quiero comprar algo. I want to buy something. I want to buy something. And how about this one? Acabo de enseñarle algo interesante. Acabo de enseñarle algo interesante. I've just shown him or her, but it could also be taught him or her. We would know this by the context of the conversation. Something interesting. And what about necesito darte algo importante? Necesito darte algo importante. I need to give you something important. How about puedo hacerte algo diferente? Puedo hacerte algo diferente. I can make you something different. And now we're going to do some listening pyramids. This is unique to ProSpanish. So we start at the top and we'll work our way down, building on the sentence as we go. So just start off by listening to this.
No puedo. No puedo. No puedo.
So no puedo, and no puedo is I can't. So now the next part is going to start off with no puedo and add to it. So let's have a listen.
No puedo enseñarte. No puedo enseñarte. No puedo enseñarte.
No puedo enseñarte.
So no puedo enseñarte. No puedo enseñarte. I can't teach you. And you can see how right from the beginning you're able to tune your ear to fast Spanish with this method.
No puedo enseñarte.
Okay, so no puedo enseñarte. Okay, let's see what we'll add to that.
No puedo enseñarte español. No puedo enseñarte español.
No puedo enseñarte español.
So no puedo enseñarte español. I can't teach you Spanish. Okay, slightly longer. Start at the top again.
Necesito.
Necesito.
Okay, so necesito. Necesito, I need.
Necesito decirte. Necesito decirte.
Necesito decirte.
So, necesito decirte. I need to tell you. Let's have a listen again.
Necesito decirte.
Okay. And at any time, you can test your pronunciation. So, we can just click the microphone and say the phrase. Necesito decirte. And that's fine. Okay, let's carry on moving down.
Necesito decirte algo.
Necesito decirte algo. Necesito decirte algo.
Necesito decirte algo. I need to tell you something. Let's see what's next.
Necesito decirte algo importante.
Necesito decirte algo importante.
Necesito decirte algo importante.
Necesito decirte algo importante. I need to tell you something important. Okay, start at the top and work our way down.
Decidí.
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 Decidí. Decidí, I decided.
Decidí comprarle.
Decidí comprarle.
Decidí comprarle.
Decidí comprarle. I decided to buy her, or it could be I decided to buy him.
Decidí comprarle esto.
Decidí comprarle esto.
Decidí comprarle esto. And that means I decided to buy him or her this.
Decidí comprarle esto, es interesante.
Decidí comprarle esto, es interesante.
Decidí comprarle esto, es interesante.
Okay, so I slipped in a word that's not on our table. Decidí comprarle esto. Es interesante. I decided to buy her this. It's interesting. But of course, it's very easy to add in with this whole approach, and with these pyramids, we can just add in little extra bits of vocabulary to very quickly expand our kind of conversational repertoire. Okay, there are 600 of these included in the ProSpanish course, and that's of course only available from prospanish.co.uk. And now it's time for some speaking. So just say these sentences in Spanish. Use the grid as much as you want, or you may want to look away occasionally. How would you say, I need to tell you something? Necesito decirte algo. Necesito decirte algo. How about, I decided to show her this. Decidí enseñarle esto. Decidí enseñarle esto. How about, I need to buy something. And so now there's no him or her or you, just I need to buy something. Necesito comprar algo. Necesito comprar algo. How about, I'm going to lend you something interesting. Voy a prestarte algo interesante. Voy a prestarte algo interesante. What about I've just asked this. I've just asked this. Acabo de preguntar esto. Acabo de preguntar esto. And how about I want to make him something useful. Quiero hacerle algo útil. Quiero hacerle algo útil. And how about I'm going to give you this. Voy a darte esto. Voy a darte esto. Okay, and we're back to our pyramids for some speaking practice. So we'll just work our way down this one. The English will appear and you say the Spanish. No puedo. Okay, good. Next one. So building on that. No puedo enseñarte. Good. No puedo enseñarte español. Okay, great. Okay, let's try a slightly longer one. Okay, start at the top. Necesito. Necesito decirte. Necesito decirte algo. Okay, and our final one. Necesito decirte algo importante. Okay. And let's just try this one here. And we don't have to work all the way down. We could just start right at the bottom. So let's try going right for the hardest one at the bottom. Decidí comprarle esto. Es interesante. So again, there are 600 of these included in the ProSpanish course. And before we move on to the more advanced part of this video, another reminder that the full, the progressive, the structured levels 1 to 6 course can only be downloaded from prospanish.co.uk. And the more advanced part of the video is going to be quite straightforward today. So instead of, as you know, we often use the subjunctive in this part of the lesson. So instead of having to change all of our verbs to the subjunctive, what we're going to use is use the subjunctive in the pre-infinitive part of the phrase. So let's have a look at this. We've got the same verbs as before, so dar, comprar, etc. And the same algo, algo importante, the same third column. And in the first column, we're going to have I hope you're going to. I hope that you're going to. So after espero que, or any other form of esperar que, we need the subjunctive. So I hope that, and then the subjunctive always follows. So rather than saying I hope you give, we're going to say I hope you're going to, and then the infinitives. So espero que vayas a, I hope that you're going to. And we'll also have espero que puedas. So if it wasn't subjunctive, it would just be puedes, but the subjunctive you can is puedas, and then in as, so espero que puedas, I hope you can. And we'll have me alegro de que puedas. So after I'm glad that, we would have the subjunctive. So me alegro de que puedas, and then whatever it might be. How do you think you would say, I'm glad you're going to do whatever? What would that be? I'm glad you're going to. Me alegro de que vayas a, whatever it might be. So we just use the subjunctive, you're going to, which we can see in our very first line, espero que vayas a. We'd apply that to I'm glad that. Me alegro de que vayas a, whatever it might be. Okay, so just listen to these sentences and see if you can work out what's being said. Espero que puedas comprarme algo diferente. Espero que puedas comprarme algo diferente. I hope you can buy me something different. How about espero que vayas a preguntar algo interesante. Espero que vayas a preguntar algo interesante. I hope you're going to ask something interesting. What about me alegro de que puedas hacerle algo útil. Me alegro de que puedas hacerle algo útil. I'm glad you can make him or her something useful. How about me alegro de que vayas a decirle la verdad. Now, la verdad isn't on there. It means the truth. So listen again. Me alegro de que vayas a decirle la verdad. I'm glad you're going to tell her the truth or tell him the truth. How about me alegro de que vayas a enseñarle español. Me alegro de que vayas a enseñarle español. I'm glad you're going to teach him or teach her Spanish. Okay, now it's your turn to do some speaking. How would you say, I hope you can lend me this? Espero que puedas prestarme esto. Espero que puedas prestarme esto. How about, I'm glad that you can send him something interesting. Me alegro de que puedas mandarle algo interesante. Me alegro de que puedas mandarle algo interesante. What about, I hope you're going to buy me something, let's say expensive, caro. What would that be? Espero que vayas a comprarme algo caro. Espero que vayas a comprarme algo caro. And how about, I'm glad that you're going to give her an opportunity. And you probably know an opportunity, una oportunidad. So what would that be? Me alegro de que vayas a darle una oportunidad. Me alegro de que vayas a darle una oportunidad. And how about, I hope that you can teach me something useful. Espero que puedas enseñarme algo útil. Espero que puedas enseñarme algo útil. And that concludes today's ProSpanish lesson. As mentioned earlier, if you're looking to become a confident and a competent speaker of Spanish, head over to prospanish.co.uk where you can download the full Levels 1 to 6 course.